They couldn't have planned this any better. And folks, quite frankly, this is way better than we thought, as we have some huge updates to go over today, as we are now just a couple days away from the World Series beginning. We have some big updates, including one surrounding Bichette that has huge implications going forward and new details that people aren't talking about. We're going to break that down, but also discuss some other updates, including some comments from Schneider surrounding his master plan heading into the World Series. And folks, things have lined up absolutely perfectly for this team. We're going to break all that down and more on this episode. But before we get into it, thank you guys for allowing me to hit 20,000 subscribers. We hit it yesterday. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. It truly means the world to me. You guys have been absolute beasts of the support. So hopefully the Jays can go ahead and win a World Series. But either way, thank you guys for continued support. Folks, a lot to go over today. And obviously, I had a video yesterday covering the fact that Bichette's return seems imminent at this point. And I'm going to start with the Bichette update, but there are a lot of things in this video you're going to want to stay tuned for, and things are better than we thought. Now, let's preface this by saying Jays are going up against the Dodgers. This is going to be an underdog matchup for the Jays, and it's going to be a really tough one. However, Schneider, let's dive into some of the positive updates here, recently came out and said, surrounding Bichette, we'll see whether it's on the field or DHing. He's made significant progress in terms of how he feels with his swing and his running. So, folks, this is big because obviously I covered yesterday that, Bichette, and this was in the heat of the moment, right? They had just won. I saw a few guys in the comment section saying, is he only saying this with adrenaline? Is he actually going to play? He's basically guaranteed. He is guaranteed at this point to make the roster. And there's a chance, according to Schneider, that he could be in the infield. Now, whether he plays shortstop is still up in the air. I would love to see them throw him at second base, which is not going to happen. But obviously, a man can dream. But this is perfect because the Dodgers, we have a ton of updates on today here. They have some very good pitchers, and they have some very, very good bullpen arms as well, right? We know they have like a bunch of Hall of Famers, all these different things in their starting rotation and their lineup. But for Bichette to be able to be available, this is massive, especially if it's in the field. And for everyone out there who thinks he's not going to play, he's playing. And it could be in the field. Now, in the same vein, one of the reasons this is so important is this. So it has been confirmed, and I'll go through the entire starting as projected lineups for the pitchers, because the Dodgers have announced their couple of game pitchers for games 1 and 2, and you can kind of do the easy addition there, right, and figure out who the other ones are going to be. So Blake Snell will start game 1, and then Yoshinobu Yamamoto will follow in game 2, just like it was in the NLCS. Which means it's a lefty followed by a righty. Guessing Varsho and Jimenez will be the only lefties in there for game 1, assuming Bo can only DH, with Schneider and Springer in the outfield corners. So a couple different things here. Now, if this allows for Bichette to play the infield, changes everything. But even if he's DHing, you're going up against a lefty game 1. Schneider's going to be playing, Bo's going to be playing, and it lined up perfectly because you're going to need Bichette for this World Series, right? There's no doubt about it. And they're starting with a lefty, and who could have it better than us with Bichette back in there, right? That's obviously one of the biggest things. Now, in the same vein, we know in game 2 it's going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So we're looking at Snell versus Yasavage, and Yasavage is seemingly going to go game 1, which works out pretty well. I'm pretty confident in that because you want to throw Yasavage at home. Now, it does leave him prone to being on the road in game 5, but again, for now, it seems Yasavage in game 1. Yamamoto game 2 versus Gausman, and then Glasnow, and then Ohtani. So things... And again, when I say way better than we thought, I don't mean it in the sense of, the matchup against the Dodgers. But given what we're facing, which is a juggernaut Dodgers team, things lined up great. Bichette, there's a chance he plays the field, which changes a lot. And the Jays are going to be forced into some impossible decisions here going forward. I'll have a video on it surrounding their lineup construction now each and every day. We know Springer doesn't love playing in the field. He's going to have to if Bo was only DHing. But then who they take out? You would assume it's low Perfito for Bichette, but maybe they want some more infield help because of Bo's injury, and then maybe they keep IKF. But you look at it now as well, and again, it's a 2-3-2 format. Home, home, away, 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 home, home. Same as the ALCS. You're going to be facing Snell game 1. Dominant, but I have full faith in the Jays here. What I'm worried about is the pitching staff, right? Yasavage against the Dodgers is scary. Gausman, every one of these pitchers, right? The Jays don't have a true ace, at least as of right now. I think Yasavage can turn into that. But you're going up against a very, the best lineup in baseball. They look undefeated right now. But I like their chances. I really do like the Jays' chances because of the way things line up. And if Bichette is ready, this is a lineup you could go with in game 1. Now, I'm going to quickly correct Jason here because Blake Snell is going game 1. I don't know if this was posted before or after. You switch Lucas and Schneider, right? So for my lineup, again, Springer in right, Schneider, wherever, we'll figure it out. Probably, we'll figure out where that goes in a second. Guerrero, and then Bichette, Kirk, Versho, Clement, and then, of course, this will be your lineup against a righty, but against lefties, obviously, Berger will probably be out, and you'll put, someone else in, and then Jimenez. But let's say, for the sake of argument, this will be for game 2 against Yamamoto. It makes it easier, right? Having Springer, Lucas, Guerrero, Bichette slides everyone down a notch, makes the lineup that much deeper. You have Kirk in the 5-hole. You have still Clement in the 7-hole. Berger in the 8-hole. Like, this lineup is nasty. And the snowball effect that Bichette returning is going to have on this lineup, whether it be in the field or at DH, is truly unbelievable. And as you go up against a Dodgers team that has all the momentum, they had all the rest days, they can line up the roster and their lineup perfectly, their starting rotation specifically. The Jays can't. But guess what? This team has had their backs against the wall every single step of the way, and this is the time to come out. And let's dive into some more stats, which couldn't have planned it better for this Jays team to go up against, the Dodgers. Not necessarily the Dodgers team, but of course, they're rolling right now, quite frankly. The Jays are hitting 296 in the postseason, which is the highest in like almost 2 decades. The Dodgers are second at 256. That's interesting, right? The Dodgers are on a generational run. The Jays have hit better average-wise. And if you need a team to hit for contact, of course, this would be the team to do it against, right? Like, Snell has nasty stuff. He has a wipeout pitch. So does Yamamoto. So does Tyler Glasnow. So does Shohei Ohtani. But I don't think the Jays are going to get overmatched by the pitchers. The pitching for the Jays is going to be the biggest question. And you look at some of the stats here for the Jays thus far, right? 1,300 OPS for Vladdy. George Springer with 1,000. Addison Berger. Andres Jimenez. Of course, Versho had a pretty rough ALCS, right? There's absolutely no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, folks, this is a fantastic ball club. You can look at their ALCS stats here, coming off of a hot ALCS. And I have no doubt in my mind that things worked out this way for a reason, right? Yes, the Dodgers have all the momentum. They have the better team. They are favored. They have all, they don't have home field advantage, but they have the advantage of being able to rest for a week before the Jays, whereas the Jays only have from, what ended up being Tuesday to Friday, today to Friday, or yesterday to Friday. It's going to be very interesting. Technically, yesterday to Thursday are full off days. Very exciting. And this update here changes a lot. And something else to keep in mind here, you have some guys like AJ, you can see here, former, of course, player himself, AJ Pierzynski. Bo Bichette says he'd be ready to go for the World Series, but finding a spot for him in the lineup is going to be tough. As much as I think Bo is an awesome player right now, I think you just say, look, man, I'm sorry, we're rolling with what we got. Not happening, right? There's just no way that AJ Pierzynski is going to come out and say this. I mean, he did, right? I'm shocked. I fully disagree. There's no way you're going to go without your second best hitter, one of the best hitters in baseball, has led the AL in hits multiple times, was leading the AL in hits at the time of his injury, was leading the AL in average at the time of his injury. If you're going to have any chance against these elite pitchers and this team, you go out with your best. I don't care that the Jays, of course, there's something to be said about this offense being fantastic. It can be better. And to beat the Toronto Blue Jays, you're going to need obviously elite pitching, and that's what the Dodgers have. So they can try to beat the Toronto Blue Jays that way. But you're going to need, if you're the Jays, to beat the Dodgers, elite hitting and a complete performance, right? We can talk all day long about how good or how bad the Jays starting rotation will be against the Dodgers team. If they can't hit, none of it will matter. You need to put Bichette in there. He will be in there. And it's also going to be interesting to see how they utilize their bullpen, because third-time order through for starting pitchers has been devastating throughout the entirety of the postseason. And guess what, folks? Dodgers have a hell of a bullpen over there. The Jays have a hell of a bullpen here. But the most important thing is the starters need to get off to a hot start, folks. That'll wrap it up. Things are better than we thought. Bo's returning. The bats are on fire. And there's some interesting things that I think the Jays can take advantage of.